Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. It's a Complete Brian again, here to introduce to you the computer. So in this episode we are going to know what a computer is, to see how a computer looks like, to know the different functions a computer can do, and we'll also be able to interact with the desktop. And I'll show you a few parts of the desktop and how it looks like and what you can do with them. So allow me to start with showing you how a computer would look like in case you've never seen one, and this is how it would look. So this one specifically is what we call a desktop computer. A desktop computer is one of the types of computers that are available on the market. The difference between a desktop computer and other computers is that the desktop computer has its parts separate and they're just brought together for it to function. This is what we call a monitor, this is what we call a keyboard, below the keyboard we have the mouse, and this other thing is what we call a central processing unit. The central processing unit basically is the brain of the computer. It is where the functions of the computer are carried out. So I'm going to show you also another type of computer that is available on the market. This is what is usually referred to as a laptop computer. So the difference is really seen. The laptop computer is smaller, it is compressed together, everything is together. So for it has a monitor and the other part that usually has the hard disk, everything, and on the surface of it we usually have a keyboard and a touchpad. So these are the types of computers that we do have on the market. But beyond what you really see here, we have what we call another part of the computer that you do not really see, what we call the operating system. So the operating system is the software that allows us to interact with the computer, feeding it what we want and it executing the functions. So it's non-tangible, and among the examples of the different operating systems we have Windows, and there is also Linux. So the computer basically has two parts: the hardware, which I've just shown you. It comprises the monitor, the CPU, the keyboards, the mouse. They comprise the hardware. Then the software, that's the intangible part, of which involves the operating system, or the intangible part of the computer. So I'm also going to show you something about, let's say you've met a computer for the first time. You ask yourself, how am I going to use this? So basically, I'm going to show you what you would see if you want to switch on your computer, given that you've already connected it into power. So you would see a sign, the universal sign for power on. This is what it would look like. So if you press this one on desktop or the laptop or something that looks like this, you should be able to power on your computer, and it will come on. And when your computer comes on, this is what you will be able to see. And by the way, before we go very far, bringing on a computer, we have a special term for it. We call it booting. We have what you call warm booting, and we have what you call cold booting. So bringing on a computer from when it hasn't been on, that's what we call cold booting, meaning the computer has been off and you're turning it on. So warm booting would also mean turning on a computer, but the state with which it was in is that maybe you're restarting your computer, so it was already functioning but you really want to restart it again. That's what we would refer to as warm booting. So when you start your computer, this is what you should be able to see. This is what we will refer to as the desktop. What does the desktop involve, or what is it that you're seeing on this desktop that I really would want you to know? What you're seeing here, these are icons. They represent programs that are in the computer, and most of these are shortcuts to programs that are present on the computer. This bar down below is what we call a taskbar. Whichever programs you're running on the computer, this is where they are displayed. And also we have what we call the start menu. This is where you see all the applications that are on your computer, not necessarily that you're running them, but they are on your computer, and you can choose one depending on what you really want to run. Say if you want Windows, here it would be. If you wanted to run Excel, you would find it there. If you wanted to run PowerPoint, you'd also find it there. So this is our desktop, and that is what it really does. So you may be wondering, all this time you've been seeing something moving around. What is that thing? This is what we call a cursor, and it is controlled by the touchpad for a laptop, or for a desktop computer it is controlled by what we call the mouse, and the mouse will look like a little bit of variation here and there. This is the mouse, and this is what you would be able to see. So given that we have this mouse around here, I want to talk about something that's so crucial when you're using the mouse. So what does the mouse do? The mouse does this. We use it for clicking. So you will notice it has two parts, or in between there is a line that separates it into two, the right and the left. You notice it very well that there is the right and the left. So when you click on your right, when you click your right, this is what happens. When you click on the right, you bring up more options. When you click once on the left, you select something. So when you double click on the left, it would open up a program you really want. So given that I've shown you these things, let me show you how they really work. I have already opened this image, so if I click once, it means I've selected something and it is gone away. I've closed that program because of the clicking once. So let's say I want to open up something. I want to open up where I've saved these images. I will have to do what we call a double click, and it will open up where my images are saved. Also, I want to show you the left click. So the left click is one of the most important things that you should know. It determines what I would want to do with whatever. It brings up more options when I'm interacting with my computer. So if I left click around here, this will show me. I can decide to open, I can decide to delete, I can decide to copy, I can decide to cut, and this is what it does basically. So given that now you know how to interact with the computer and interact with the desktop, today's video will end here. So if you found this video helpful, you can like, you can share, and most importantly, you can subscribe.